Yo, so we were pretty much gonna end after last video, and then we started talking about the games for the rest of the week. And I wanted to correct myself. There's actually some interesting games, to say the least. Nothing that I feel super confident on, but it sparked a lot of discussion afterwards. So we figured just
Yeah,
run it.
we got that DJing in us. You know what I mean?
No, and it actually rolls right into the first game, right? Um, I don't recommend anybody do this, but I might actually put some money on this Raiders Ravens game. My take on it is Minshew was with the Colts last year, and he beat the Ravens. Right now, he has more options, I think, here with the Raiders. Right, he has Adams. He's got some runners. He's got some tight ends. Right, so offensively, I think he's okay there. And the defense, I mean, you got a decent defense in the Raiders. Sure, they screwed up a little bit last week against the Chargers, but
Crosby's a
catching
menace, though.
Crosby's a menace, right? And Spillane, you got Diablo. I'm pretty sure is he still with the Raiders?
Yeah, I think so.
Um, so why not? And like I said, I'm not gonna
Yep.
do the full. I'll do maybe I'll tease it with the plus 14, throw in another game. But I don't know what you think, man.
Oh,
I know, right?
Henry, Derrick Henry doesn't have the same breakaway speed as Dobbins, and that's kind of where
It hurt
it
the
hurt the
Raiders. Like,
Raiders.
yep. Because look at Gus. Gus didn't do anything.
No, he didn't.
But I'm just saying, it's just food for thought because everyone's writing this game off. Everyone's like, "Oh, this spread is way too big to touch." If we're gonna do anything, we're gonna do the under, which the under is a good play, right? I can see the under hit. It's only 41.5.
Yeah.
Right.
What you got this in a teaser?
Maybe I honestly, actually talking about the under, I might bump up the under to like 48
Yeah.
and then do like a plus 14. I don't know. Two touchdowns. Give the Raiders a two
I think
touchdown
that's
head
fair.
start. Watch Minshew come out, score a touchdown on the first possession. Now we got a 3 touchdown head start on the game.
24-17.
24-17. You're still on the under.
Yeah.
Easy day, right?
That that
Because
that could be it.
that can be it, right? But enough of that game. I mean, Chargers and Panthers, man. Um, that's I feel like everyone's riding off the Panthers. I think it's rightfully so. They brought in a lot of good pieces over the summer to make that team better. I don't know if they did enough
Oh
on the
man.
offense.
Honestly, Bryce is a young quarterback. He is the first overall pick. He's got Dave Canales, the quarterback whisperer. I think that game last week just got way too out of hand, way too quick, and Bryce hasn't built up that mental fortitude quite yet in his
He
career.
looked worse though. He looked worse last game than he did. I think most of last. I think I
Yeah.
didn't follow him too much, but and now you have
Wasn't it
Bosa on his ass in this game.
yeah, wasn't it two of his first three passes or something? He had two picks?
Yeah,
Something like
and like
that.
everything else, it wasn't like it was on target. Like a lot of those other passes could have been picks too.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, and I also don't think this Chargers offense got fully unlocked as far as the passing game. I think there's a lot more we could see from Palmer. I think Quentin Johnston can't be any worse than he was last year. I think he had a drop last week, but they got Ladd, you know.
And again, my biggest take on this is that's how he performed last week against the Saints. This week he's got Bosa and Khalil Mack. Like that's
Yeah.
not a quarterback. That's not quarterback heaven right there, right? Especially for a
Khalil
young
Mack,
guy.
he's trying to go for those 5 sacks like he did last year. I forget what game, but I'm pretty sure he's trying to eclipse that.
Yeah, and this is just not so. Me personally, I bought it. I bought in at a -5.5 earlier in the week. it went up to 6.5, and now it's back down to 5. So the line's been moving a little bit. I'm still comfortable with my 5.5. I think the Chargers can easily lay a touchdown and maintain that. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, I can't hate on that one.
Yeah.
Panthers look
Um.
bad.
Yeah, the Panthers aren't. But uh, somebody that is looking good is Darnold. Right, we were talking about him, and
Oh
this is
yeah.
one of the things that this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this whole podcast take thing is because I feel like a lot of the public just writes certain people off for no reason. And me and Kaz have been friends for a very long time, and we talk football all the time. I think it was last year, or was it this year? It was last year when I went out to visit you. Um, I was talking about Baker, right? Hey,
Yep.
Baker's doing work, and what he do? He took the Bucks to the into the playoffs last year. And it just now everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Baker's looking amazing." I was like, "Bro, he's been good, but like he was good with the Rams, right?" And then he goes to North Carolina where he doesn't have anything, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Baker fucking sucks. Like he ain't
Hey,
gonna last in Buck with the Bucks."
he did what Deshaun can't do.
Yeah, and he did it. He did it with what
With
was it? A
less.
broken collarbone.
Yeah.
When he was in with the Browns, he took him to the playoffs still with the broken collarbone. He played through that,
And they didn't want to pay him.
and they didn't want to pay him. Right. So is my bias on Baker coming out a little bit here? Yeah, it is. But that's like I said, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this because I feel like uh, people write off certain people, and in this case, Sam Darnold's one of them. Right. He didn't have anything with the Jets.
He
He
saw
was in North
ghosts.
Carolina. He was in North Carolina, not much better there. And I think when he did play in San Francisco, he looked pretty decent, which fed into the whole, oh, you see, Brock Purdy ain't all that great. Like Sam Darnold's coming off the bench doing good. So I
Yeah.
don't know. That's a tough line, bro. What you think?
The line's closed a little bit. I do think Brock's probably the better quarterback, but at the same time, the Niners don't have CMC. The Jets weren't formidable. The Jets might be a little overrated.
Yeah,
The Vikings
all the
might have,
Rogers
yeah,
hype.
yeah, the Vikings might have a better shot to score on this defense.
They do have solid options. They have Jefferson, right?
Yeah. Addison is hurt. I think he's questionable.
He's
So
questionable,
pretty sure an ankle injury. So I wouldn't expect him, but they did add Aaron Jones this offseason.
and he showed that he's still a good back.
Yeah.
Right, he showed it. And the one of the biggest questions, and don't get me wrong, it was the Giants again. We talked about this in the other video. It's hard to get a grasp of the teams with 1 week. But that defense, it looked great, and that was one of the biggest questions. Was like, oh, is the defense going to be any good this year?
Yeah. And,
Right,
if I'm not mistaken, Brian Flores is coaching up that Vikings defense. He's gonna give Brock some interesting looks. That
he's going to bring the
I
blitz.
mean, the Niners aren't the Giants, but they said they felt bad for Daniel Jones. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Brock a hard time.
Yeah. So I personally at this point, um, I like the Vikings personally, right? But I if this line moves down anymore, I might take the 49ers, especially if it goes down to 4.5. It's until this team until they prove me wrong, you just kind of have to back them, right? They're
Yeah,
out to win the Super Bowl this year. They really are.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, so going against the grain, I think we jump to Cards Rams.
you want to go Cards Ram? All right, that's cool
Uh,
because
it's the contrarian take. It's just like Darnold, man. We
yeah,
we got we got the COD gamer.
one of the boys.
Yo, how can you hate on this man just cause he's as tall as me?
You know what's crazy too is that we both kind of have the same take. And going back to my previous point, where this is another team that everybody kind of wrote off. And I don't think that they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, right? But I think that they're going to be a lot better than what people expected.
Yeah,
People think Kyler's overrated, but what they failed to remember is that last year, yeah, the Cardinals looked like shit when Dobbs was running that offense. As soon as they came back, they went on a little run at the end of the season. It could possibly be because teams were like, "Oh, it's the Cardinals, whatever. We're not really going to focus on them." But at the end of the day, a dub's a dub,
yeah,
right? And Kyler, I mean, he's got options there.
yeah. They looked pretty good against the Bills last week. At least in the first half, that offense was clicking. They've got a defensive-minded head coach now, so they might have got rid of some of the pieces they used to have, but good coaching makes a big difference on defense. The line, I'm seeing it opened up at 2.5. Congrats to the people that got that. The
Yeah,
line, the line for the Cards is now -1, minus
minus
one and a
one.
half. So they went from
Yeah,
from dogs to favorites. They're at home. I don't know if they can stop Cup.
yeah,
McVay could tear apart that defense, but it's gonna be
yeah.
a good matchup.
It's a good matchup. It's rightfully a pick 'em, and like you were saying, it's kind of hard to fade Stafford and McVay. Two,
Yeah,
McVay's a mastermind. He's got that. He's got the game. Stafford's just a veteran, and so it's hard to fade them in a situation like this early in the season. But I think it's going to be a good game. I'm I'm leaning Cards. You know,
yeah,
but I'm not putting money on this one. I'll just choose my pick 'em on the pick 'em league, and
yep.
I'm good enough there.
On my pick'ems, I did go Cards. I wish I could have got this 2.5, but yeah,
Yeah. Another good game, right? And I think it's because of week one is the Saints Cowboys game. We were also talking about that. It's one of the reasons why we're doing this right now. I think that the Saints stomping on the Cardinals are making people say, "Oh, what? I'm getting 6.5 points right now against the
yeah,
Cowboys." Yeah, let me take that because this is about to. Yeah, yeah. So 6.5 points. It looks like it's gonna go down to 6 here soon, and the Cowboys. Let's be real. They their defense won them the game.
yep, 100%.
So
And
you
this
have
is this is Dan Quinn leaving. They've got Zimmer. He's a good DC, but things are different.
yeah, and now you're going to yeah. So I don't know. This is a tough one. Me personally, I've got that one in a teaser with the Chiefs. I got them both at when they were at +6, so they pretty much need to tie or win, right? Which I can see the Cowboys winning. However, honestly, at this point, I might take the points with the Saints. Granted, the game is also in Texas, where the Cowboys beat the shit out of everybody.
Yeah,
So you got to think about that too.
yep, kicking tomato cans at home.
you know,
The one thing I'll say, Zeke looked pretty good.
Mhm.
That run game, Pollard was coming off the injury last year. I don't think the run game will be as good as it was last year. CD didn't practice in training camp. He had his holdout, so it's gonna
and
be
that's
interesting. I think
it is.
Kamara Kamara is an X factor here because what do you do with Micah? Who's guarding Kamara? Who's gonna shadow him? They
Uh,
can't let him rush down Carr the whole game, I imagine.
and the Cowboys got a new defense, pretty much. I mean, a lot of the players there are new. They've got some injuries as well, and on the offensive side, them losing Pollard, and then you still have offensive weapons, right? People forget about Cooks. he's a great number two, right? The problem is CD's just so amazing
Yeah,
that he takes up all the hype. But the other thing you guys got to look at too is Ferguson with the injury.
he's hurt. Yep, that's what I was gonna say. He's a big piece of that offense.
He is. Um, so like I said, I got in a teaser. I don't have a pick straight up for this one. But yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take Cowboys by default, but
Yeah,
you know, it is at home, so
I don't. I mean, I don't blame you,
yeah,
dude.
it's chalky. But do the Saints cover the spread? I don't know. Derek Carr, Mike Carr, you know.
Yeah, it's like which car's going to show up, right? Because last year, I mean, they're for the most part, he looked like shit,
Yeah,
and then he started kind of getting a little better towards the end of the season.
nope.
Um, but another controversial one is the Patriots,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I personally have a -3 ticket on this with the Seahawks, and
All right, all right.
I personally think, like I told you, man, they just have too many weapons for this defense. Sure, you put what's old boy's name, Gonzalez, on
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez.
yeah, you can put him on Metcalf, right? And I personally think Metcalf is a little overrated. You put a good defender on him, and he gets locked up quick.
We saw it last week with Sertan.
Yeah, and you see it a lot. You saw it a lot last season. His frustrations were showing, right? Especially when they would target him and he couldn't bring it in, or if he didn't get targeted. So it's like, bro, like if you're gonna get mad about not getting targeted, when you get targeted, catch the ball, right? Not saying it's easy,
Yeah,
but you got Lockett, you've got Enigma, you've got Metcalf,
the
and then you got
Jigba.
the run game. um, and then you got the run game, right? So I think there's just too many options available to Gino, and I don't think that the Patriots have enough offensively to keep up.
I'll tell you what. I think I think the Broncos stack up fairly similar to the Patriots defense. We
Okay,
saw we saw them have fits last week against that D. Um, you know, game script wise, Patriots are gonna run the ball. They want to
yep.
chew the clock up. Um, their weapons on the outside, they're all young, unproven. They do have Osborne this year, so I get the -3.5. In my Pick'ems league, I did go Pats.
Okay, all right.
Part of that, Zach Charbonnet, he's a solid backup. You know, he, he he's gonna get the job done, but he's not Kenneth Walker. He's not
Uh,
K9. So
is Kenneth
um,
is Walker ruled out for sure?
he's doubtful. So
He's out for yeah.
I'm assuming he's not gonna play.
Bro's had
So
that abdominal issue since like
yeah,
last year. I feel like that's
yep,
what he was out for a lot of the
yep.
time too.
He's it's a reoccurring thing. So it's a tight game. I understand the -3. Seahawks might just put up points, and if Brissett's forced to throw, he doesn't have too many guys to go to. So
Doesn't it?
I totally get the pick, but I think if Patriots can get an early 3-7 point lead, they're just gonna lean on Ramondre,
Yeah.
get Gibson some touches, get Hunter Henry a couple touches.
And going back to last week's game, I mean, you got to remember that the Bengals had that touchdown drop, and then also on the I think it was on the punt, they dropped the ball at the 10, right? So had he again, what ifs, but it would have been a lot closer game. And I think that the discussion would have been a little bit different than it is now, which is another reason why I'm taking the -3 with the Seahawks. But
Yeah, and I don't think you're wrong about that. The the Seahawks had two safeties against them last week, so
yeah, big. What are the
You
odds
know,
that's going to happen again?
it
Right? They
won't.
look
So
sloppy.
that's 4 points, 2 punts.
Hmm.
I
Yep.
I could be
So
wrong.
yeah, or I could be wrong. Who knows? One of us is going to be right if we're on opposite teams. So
Yeah, can't be wrong with that.
yep. We already talked about the Bucks and Lions. We have a whole video on that.
Yep.
This is an injury game. You have the Colts and the Packers, man, and you already know that I did another teaser on this one, and it is the Colts +3 with the Jags.
Yeah. That I don't understand. Um, the line opened up at 4.5. You know,
Got
Jordan
bought down.
Jordan Love's ruled out. Colts are at -3 now. So I think JT is gonna have a heyday. Bro's gonna get. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a James Cook type day like we saw on Thursday. So I don't know what the Packers are gonna do with Malik. They'll probably pull out the RPO, but they do have good weapons on the outside. The Colts defense is suspect. I know we've been told that all off season. So I think the +3 is a lock here for the Colts.
Yeah. If there's a Josh Jacobs attempt, I would I would go for that because I think at some point it's either going to be one of two things, right? They're going into the game thinking, yeah, we're not going to rely on Willis at all, right? Um, so let's just run the ball, or they're going to give him a chance and he's going to fuck it up, and then they're going to be like, yeah, we just got to run the ball, and then
Yeah,
try. If we don't get first downs on the first second, then we're gonna have to go for like a third down throw and hope that he
yep.
connect, right?
It's probably gonna be very telegrammed.
Yeah, and I honestly, the only reason I think this line is very close is because a lot of people saw some questionable throw, not questionable, but some inaccurate throws um, on the Colts side of the house, and so I don't understand why this line's so close.
I
But
think I think it goes back to the preseason talks. You know, people talk about how bad this Colts D is. They talk about Anthony Richardson can't throw. They talk about how bad he looked against the Bengals in the preseason.
yeah,
At the same time, this guy made what might be one of the best throws of the year, week one, stepping back a 60-yard dime.
and don't forget this Houston's defense. It's a solid defense,
Yeah,
right?
it
They brought in
is.
some good pieces to make a playoff run,
Yep. And they've got
right?
D'Amico coaching them.
They got yeah. So now, don't get me wrong, the Packers are good too, right? So let's see what happens. That's why I said I don't see Malik leading the Packers to beating the Colts by more than 3 points. So that's why I teased it. Um, but enough of that game. Let's move on to the Jets and Titans. If you guys watched the last
Oh
video,
man.
yeah, you already know some picks that we have, which is the Aaron Rodgers under on pass attempts, correct?
Yep. 32 and a half
And
pass attempts. Lock it.
32 and a half. Lock it
Milk
in.
milk money.
Yes, sir. Get that milk money or formula, whichever one.
True.
Yeah, yeah. But on my pick, it's a straight fade of what's the old boy's name?
Levis.
Levis. It's just a straight fade on him. And I'm not a Levis hater, right? I actually thought that I had the Titans last week, right? I thought that coming into this year with Pollard and Spears in the back and a lot more options. I mean, their Burke is their number 3 option now.
Yeah, they got Ridley, Hopkins,
Yeah,
Chig.
with with uh with uh with options like that, you would think that they blew out the freaking Bears, but
Especially looking at the box.
yeah, You know what I mean? And then you look at it and you're like, yo, how did that happen? And it's at the end of the day, at that point, it's a quarterback
Yeah, just bad mistakes.
holding the ball too long, um, not accurate, flicking the ball when you're going down. Like, man,
I
so
do I do think there's a chance the game stays close, but I
mhm.
think you've got Jets +2.
Yeah, I got him +2 on the teaser.
Yeah, so, you know, Titans defense I think is a little slept on. If you look at who
They
they've
are.
got, they they're
Mhm.
they're pretty stout. And we saw that last week.
Yep.
They shut down that Bears offense. They shut down the Caleb hype. I don't doubt Caleb. I like DeAndre Swift too, but they did not look good.
No, they didn't. Um, but I think that the Jets they have to come out here and make a statement, right?
Yeah,
Like, hey, that was give me a sec. That was a that was a Super Bowl team that we just played,
yep,
right? And this is a Jets team that for the first time has Aaron Rodgers playing a full game,
yeah,
right? You can't expect him to come in and know everything, operate smoothly, right? They had a lot of drop passes. This is kind of a revenge game in a way. Even though the Titans didn't do anything to the Jets, they're gonna let the Titans know, like, hey, we're fucking pissed, right?
yeah,
And you guys are on the receiving end of that.
yeah. I think just with what happened last week, Braylon Allen didn't get too involved. We saw a couple good plays from him. I think the Jets have two good running backs they can lean on. It's going to be a strong D line by the Titans, but I wouldn't be surprised if they got bullied a little bit. They got
Bro,
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
Mike Evans. He's still recovering from injury. He's playing, but they're easing him back in. Lazard Lazard is beating Father Time right now. He didn't exist last year, but if Aaron Rodgers is quarterback, he's getting the ball. And they got Garrett Wilson, who's a stud.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so they already talked about Williams is going to be eased back into that, but the line on Wilson opened up at 5.5 receptions again.
No way.
Just saying that might not be a bad pick.
Yeah, if they don't get too far ahead too quick, that I think that's the only reason the line's so low, which doesn't really match what Vegas has on the spread, which is funny.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's my take on that. Um, man, the next one. I mean, I feel like they're all good games, but they're hard to money on right
Let's
now.
let's do this Giants Commanders game. Let's get it out the way.
You want to do that one? All right, yeah. I'll be honest with you, I don't have anything on that game, bro. I don't really. Fuck it.
Let's see. So,
I'm gonna throw money on the Giants because I feel like at this point, uh, Daniel Jones's career is on the line.
yep,
Simple as that.
yep. I
Um,
I've got the Giants picked.
yeah, that's the only reason why you can get it at +1 or +1.5 points. Or you can go for the money line at barely plus money. But I think that the Commanders' defense just it showed that it has a lot of holes in it against the Bucks. The Bucks don't come by that many points that easily. Saw that last year. There's a few games where they got over 30 points.
Yeah,
And again, this is just a game where Daniels has to kind of show up. And I think it's he's in the same boat as Watson.
yeah.
Those two guys have to show up. They both signed big contracts. They both haven't done anything since.
You know what? To bolster the case on the Giants, I this is what I've got. Giants D line is good. The rest of them, there's a lot of questions, but their D line is strong. So you look at that. How did the Commanders score points? Jaden Daniels scrambled. He missed some open guys down the field. Giants secondary isn't that great. Can Jaden Daniels really expose them? I don't know if he can, honestly. And if that D line can hold him in the pocket or at least not let him rush for almost 100 yards,
You
it's
know?
it's kind of like do or die game for Daniel Jones, and can that D line hold up?
Yeah. And even if that's the case, like I think that the Giants much rather have um oh boy beat them or beat him on the run than beat him on the air,
Yeah,
right? Because there's only so much he can do by himself.
yeah.
So
So I think it's a good matchup for the Giants. It's on the
yeah,
road, but I'm taking them straight up here.
yeah. But I wouldn't put too much money on it.
Yeah, I'm not betting it. It's just in our pick'ems league, but
Pick'em's league for sure. Yep.
no, go Giants.
Um, talking about another guy who his career at that team is online, and like I said, Watson.
Nope.
Um, the dude just looks bad, man. And this is one of the reasons why I picked the Cowboys last week. Last season, even before the injury, wasn't looking good. And I mean, he hasn't played football. He like in probably what, like 2 years?
Oh, you know what gets me on Deshaun? I don't know the I don't I haven't looked for it, but I don't remember the last time I saw this dude in a presser.
Yeah.
You see the preseason, who do you see? You see Jameis hyping up the team.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Deshaun? I haven't heard
Yep.
his voice.
Nah.
It's
And
almost unrelated to football, but that goes into the locker room.
100%. And I think a lot of people were surprised when they didn't keep Flacco after that run that they had last year. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if old boy didn't get hurt, I don't know if they would have made the playoffs with the way he was playing.
Nah, I don't think so. Even with how good that defense was.
Yeah. So I don't know if the Browns or I don't know what's up with the Browns organization. Honestly, they just they just seem to be right. I mean, I know they paid him the money, but like you're it's a double loss right there. You're losing games still, and you paid him money. I like at this point, bro. Hey, you lost the money. At least try to
Yeah.
win the games while you have a good defense
Yep.
and you have options. I mean, granted, and Njoku, I got to double check. I was one of the guys I needed to follow up on. I know he's got a hurt ankle.
Yeah, I think
Was he
he's
out,
probably not gonna play.
bro? A free line is his over
I
on
ah
receptions. He was at 4 on in the third quarter before he got hurt, and he got hurt. I think as he was targeted.
yeah.
So so I don't know. I that's just a little plug. And Joku out again. Oh, see, and so now like the number one, like probably their number two target is out. Number one as a like a safety. I feel like Njoku's kind of like that safety throw. Like, yo, we need some yards. Go get them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like Njoku a lot. I mean, you see Deshaun Amari had 9 targets for 2 catches. Amari wasn't
Overthrew
great
him.
either, but
He overthrew him on that one where it could have been easy touchdown.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah. Like I said, I've got this one in a teaser as well. I got the Jags +3. Um, it's going to be a hard one for the Jags for sure because the defense is still there. They're still great.
nope,
Um, but on the opposite side of the ball, we're asking Deshaun Watson to beat us.
yeah. Now I know everything we just said, and I don't disagree with any of it. But
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 yeah,
yeah, keyword in my pick'ems leagues, I've got the Browns. You know,
okay,
we try to go for perfection every week. We saw this Jags team, you know, they were
yeah,
good in the first half against the Dolphins last week.
yeah,
I think Trevor Lawrence had something like 50 yards against the Dolphins in the second half.
yeah.
ETN was not the most effective. Tank Bigsby looked better than him. They don't have Calvin Ridley anymore. Evan Ingram was quiet. I don't know if that was part of the game plan by one of the teams. Um, like you said, that Cowboys defense carried last week, and I think it's similar to the Bryce scenario. Um, you know, it's
It's on the
week it
opposite side.
yeah, it's week 1. You're getting beat up early. It's tough. It's tough, no preseason reps.
Yeah,
So I do like the Browns' weapons a little bit more on the outside, especially if Njoku plays. I think, you know, Judy has a bad rep, but, you know, Amari Cooper is definitely the best wide receiver on that field.
yeah,
Jerome Ford has been good in Chubb's absence. So with
yeah.
with with
Ford's
that
been good.
defense, I'm gonna take the Browns. I'm hesitant too, but we got to win the Pick'ems league.
Yeah, and I like I said, I don't blame you, man. Honestly, because like the Jags are just super inconsistent.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like we might be having a slightly different discussion, or that line might be a little bit different if ETN didn't fumble.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was saying, all you need is let Watson have a good game, and that defense is going to take care of the rest. Like
Yeah.
Watson literally just needs to make his throws, and this is one of the reasons why I say, and you can't really compare it too much just because the options are different. But this is why last year I was behind Purdy so much, right? People say this, say that about him, right? It's still hard to go out there and make that easy throw to your
Yeah.
target. Like some quarterbacks make it seem like it's the hardest thing ever. They really do. Um, Watson's one of them. He just has to go out there, chuck a couple balls, get a couple points on the board, and let his defense do the rest.
Yep.
And he
And he
can't do it.
he
And he's
can't.
getting paid $240 million, right? But hey, Purdy's just sucks. Or
Yeah.
Purdy, or he's just a game manager. He's just like, hey man, whatever. He's doing his job. He's doing it well,
Yep.
right? There's people in this league that have a full time job that probably shouldn't. So yeah, let's see if he saves his career on this one. There's a lot of talk, especially with the case that he's catching right now. So let's see what
Yeah.
happens.
I stacked that one up. Hey,
Yep.
I'm ready for Jameis. I'm ready.
Let's get it. Did we already cover the
Afternoon
Rams?
slate. Yep.
Okay, cool,
We're
cool,
on to the
cool.
afternoon slate now.
Which one you want to do, bro?
Let's go Bengals Chiefs.
Did you see that everyone like they're judging this man on how he picked up his water bottle? That's crazy,
Well,
man.
he
That's
picked it up in
wild.
a certain way that gave a subluxation. I don't even know the word. I don't know what I'm saying, but
I mean, how do you pick like if it's on the floor? I pick shit up like this, like I don't
yeah, and
know,
then you toss it in your hand, maybe.
into
I
your
don't know.
hand. Yeah, you're on the bench, man. What do you? I'm not
I
gonna lean all the way down to grab it from the base,
I will
like.
say he was clenching that hand all game. I don't know if his hand was cold or what. I don't know if bro needs a glove.
You
It
gotta
is
remember, he
it is a
didn't have
little
T.
weird.
Higgins either, though. He didn't have T. Higgins,
Jamar, no practice
no
basically.
practice Jamar, right?
No Joe Mixon.
No Joe. Like, damn, it's just a slow start. And
Yeah,
I don't know if now don't get me wrong, the Bengals have given the Chiefs a lot of problems.
yeah,
Um, if you look at it, and I'll pull it up.
yeah. I mean, the Bengals historically have started slow with Joe Burrow.
Mhm.
So it's no surprise. I mean, it's a little surprising. I know quite a few people who got knocked out of their what do you call it? The elimination
Oh, yeah, 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 they were talking about it earlier in the week.
Survivor.
Survivor, yep, yep.
Yeah, a
Mhm,
lot of people got burnt on that Bengals Survivor pick.
yep. But going back the last 5 games, the Bengals are 3-2. And if we're looking at the spread right now, it's 6.5. Or sorry, not 6.5. It's 6. Um, the last game they played, 17-25, so 8 points. But then 20-23, 24-27, 27-24, 31-34. Right, this is going back to 2022.
I
So they've always been in there. I know they don't have Mixon, but historically speaking, the Bengals have given uh, the Chiefs problems. Granted,
no.
I will throw this in. All these games were in January or December, so it was not September.
Hey, it's in Burrowhead, so it won't be -30.
That's true.
You know, there are some concerns with Joe Burrow. I don't know if he's ever gonna be the same. We don't know a lot about this injury that he has. I
That's
mean,
so crazy. All these
it's kind of
quarterbacks,
a
man.
gray area.
All these quarterbacks, bro. I mean, you have what's his name, Kirk Cousins. You know, people are saying he doesn't look good. He looked very stiff, like he can't put any pressure on that leg.
Nope.
You know, you have Tua with the concussions. Um, you got Burrow with the hand, right? Like, I mean, these are a lot of big name quarterbacks that got paid recently.
Yeah.
Um,
Jordan Love.
Love, right? Watson, he's not injured, but he sucks. He got paid.
I, I don't want to say it, but he's mentally injured, bro. On God.
Yeah, it's something, man. It's something,
I
right?
so I don't know. May this you can disagree with me if you want, but I don't think there's much to speak on this line. If you're taking Chiefs -5.5, -6, I think they'll get there.
They'll get
They
there,
looked
yeah.
explosive.
They looked good. This is and it's contrary to how they started last season.
Yeah,
They started last season, I think 1-4.
yeah.
So you,
That offense is scary considering how good their defense still is.
yeah, yeah, and they look a lot more consistent on the offense.
Yeah,
You know, they're so I don't I see why people are getting the +6 on the Bengals. This was actually bought down because at some point I think it was almost at 7.
mm,
So I understand why people are picking the Bengals, but I think the
yeah,
-6 is in a good spot, or even
yeah,
5.5 if you're able to get it with the Chiefs.
yeah. I mean, at some point you got to give Burrow his respect. You can't give Burrow 7.
Yeah.
As
Um,
much as I think the Chiefs can easily top that, but I don't know. What's the next game we got?
I'm actually looking it up right now to see. So Russell Wilson is listed as questionable
Hmm,
against the Broncos. Hmm.
Revenge game? Hey, you know what I said earlier? These revenge games have not been playing out as anticipated. They normally don't.
And honestly, the sad part is that I kind of want this one for Wilson.
Yeah. You want Wilson to play.
Yeah, I want Wilson to play, and I want Wilson to win. Um, I feel like he got done dirty. You know what I mean? I mean, statistically speaking, he did great last year, right? At the beginning of the season, he was catching a lot of slack, which rightfully so. But I remember talking to you about this on Discord. he had some household names that weren't doing household name things. They were dropping balls in the end zone. They weren't open. He had to do a lot of work. But as
Yeah.
the season progressed, they showed up.
Speak of the bad rep with Judy.
Yep. Right. So, but as the season progressed, right, they kind of found an identity. The defense started showing. I mean, how are you supposed to be a team when your defense gives up 72 points? You know what I mean? And so as the season progressed, this one kind of reminds me of the Cardinals, right? As the season progressed, they were getting better, and statistically speaking, he was doing well. And for them to say, "Hey, I know your contract says this, but you should do this," and then benching him, you know, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think Fields looked all that great. He was able to scramble a little bit to keep the game
Yeah.
going.
He did what he needed to win that one. I don't want to remember that game. I'm a Falcons fan, so
And to his credit, though, um, Levis had to do the same thing, and he couldn't do it.
yeah.
So you got to give Fields credit for doing that.
And if I remember correctly, I think Fields went like 17 for 23. I
Um,
know it wasn't all that amazing, but his completion percentage was up there. So um, if he can do something similar, I think this should be a pretty easy game. You look at the
yeah, he had
Broncos
a
offense, like
he
yeah,
had a 74% completion rate.
yeah,
Completion rate. So yeah, pretty
yeah.
solid.
Yeah, no, and no matter if those short passes, long passes, he had Pickens on some big gains. So
Yep,
you look at this Broncos offense, they looked bad.
they did.
Bo Nix, I mean, what is he like a 6-year college starter?
And that
He,
broadcaster that said, "Oh no," like as the ball left him,
the
like
the
damn,
the
bro.
one graphic that got me during that game is they pulled up, I think it was like John Elway's first game showing he got benched. You're
Yeah,
comparing Bo Nix to John Elway? Come on. I don't know.
and now you got Watt on his ass.
And Watt's a game breaker.
He is.
I
He's
know.
like that kid's gonna see pressure.
Yeah,
He's gonna see pressure.
Bo Nix is quick. He is
He
pretty
is.
quick, but it's not easy to get away from Watt.
No, and it's like that's what you're gonna be dealing with the whole game.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh, it's a third down. They're gonna bring the blitz. Nah, it's first down, and they're bringing the blitz. It's second
yeah,
down. They're bringing the blitz, or maybe not even the blitz, but they're bringing pressure.
yeah. And that's what scares me about this Broncos team this year. Bo Nix, with how long he was in college, is supposed to be, one of the most polished quarterbacks in the class. you know, with Penix, which, that topic might come down the road, but he did not look prepared. And I don't know if that's because of Sean Payton. I don't know if he's not him. I don't know if it's because the running game just couldn't get anything going. But
I mean, I personally just think that the Broncos are in a this is just a rebuild phase.
yeah,
They're not
all
going to look
dead money,
good.
huh?
Yeah, dead
Yep.
money. Like they're just not going to look good. They don't have a lot of options. Um, he's got to develop. He might be a starting piece,
Yeah.
right? But if going forward, I don't see this Broncos team doing much this year.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much more to talk about this game. I like the
Yep.
Steelers on the spread. If you got 2.5, I think they win by a field goal.
Yeah, easy money, especially with Boswell, man. I mean, he literally won them the game.
Yeah. Bro was punting, bro was kicking.
All right,
So
we got one more for Sunday, and then
two
yeah,
two more.
we got two more.
Yeah, we got last game of the afternoon, Bears
Yeah,
at Texans.
yep, yep. I don't know if you wanted to cover the Eagles and Falcons because we're gonna make a video for that. Oh, whatever. We'll talk about it a little.
We'll We'll brush up on it a little bit.
We'll rush up on it. Yeah.
We won't say too much.
I got the Texans on a teaser. I I like it because there's no way in hell these Bears are gonna come out and beat the Texans. I don't see it, man. I'm not part of the Williams hype train though. I've seen his highlights. I know he can do some work, but
Ah, you
I
know,
just
like we said earlier, that Titans D is good. I think Williams kind of not took for granted, but I think he just took them lightly.
mhm.
You know, I'm on the Williams hype train. I don't think he's gonna get the Super Bowl like some people are saying this year, but or get to the Super Bowl or even get
Somebody
deep
said
in the
that.
playoffs.
Somebody said that,
Hey, I'm not
bruh.
I'm not naming names, but um just looking at this, the line went from 3.5 to 6.5. That Bears defense looked good. They might have a top 5 unit. You know, the
Mm.
the Texans defense, who knows? Maybe the Titans defense is a little better. I think Caleb, there's no way he plays worse than he did last week. If I'm getting the line at 6.5, it does interest me a little bit. I probably wouldn't bet it though.
I like that.
Yeah.
Actually, because I don't have the Titans right now. I'm actually gonna make a bet right now with some stuff that we were talking about earlier. So I'm
All
going with the
right.
Texans money line.
Okay.
Um, I'm going with. I can't believe I'm doing this shit. I'm gonna go with plus 16 on the Raiders,
Okay.
and then let's do that total. Let's do under. What does under 48 give me? As a parlay. What? I can't parlay these? Why not? Oh, they don't want me to win that money, bro.
Yeah.
They
They
found
don't
the
they don't
cheat
want you
code.
to get the milk money.
I'm gonna figure out why I can't parlay this, okay? And
Get back
I'll,
to
I'll
it.
I'll get back to it, right? If I'm able to figure out a way, I'm gonna post that on Twitter. Cause
But
yeah, cause you guys already know my points. You know I'm doing this.
yeah, I think there's not too much to cover. You
Nah,
know, there's an outside chance the Bears upset, but I doubt it. I think
yeah,
I think it comes down to if the Bears can win, is gonna be because of their weapons probably, and not Caleb.
yeah.
You know,
And Williams is already getting the talk of the town. Like he's over talked about
yeah.
whatever.
I mean,
So
you got to go into to Stroud's building. He's got a year under his belt. That offense is high powered.
high powered, and he's
Yeah,
got so many freaking options, dude.
yeah. I will
It's
say,
nasty.
uh, Dalton Schultz. I think he's a question mark for this game.
Is he?
Yeah, Oh, they removed his injury tag, so full weapons on the board.
So trying to
Yeah,
figure out.
I mean, for me on the spread, this is an avoid though, because just
Oh man.
because of the Bears defense.
So I'm still playing with this thing. Um, I picked the Ravens money line and the Houston money line, and that got me to minus 150. So that's a little too juiced. So I'm gonna go in and mess around with the numbers again. The reason why I don't want it to go money line, I'm not saying these Raiders are better than the Colts last year, but Minshew beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
Same. But the last game we've got the Falcons and the Eagles. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm not a huge Eagles fan, but I give credit where it's due. They looked good.
Oh, you're right. This is the
Simple as
Monday
that.
game. I'm
That's
tripping.
what I was talking about. That's what I was talking. I was like, two more, damn, bro.
We'll
But
just touch on it. We won't go into our picks or anything on it.
yeah, because we got picks for this already. So
Yeah.
But no, like I said, I think that the Eagles look good. They look a lot better. I wasn't expect. I mean, I had Green Bay on that one, on the spread. Just
Saquon.
Saquon went off. The way that the Eagles were playing at the end of last season, it just didn't look like a good team. And the opposite was happening with the Packers. They looked great. So the Eagles came out, they showed up, they killed it.
Yeah.
Um, and on the opposite side, I alluded to it earlier. There's some question marks on Cousins and his health, right?
Yeah. Now, to bring up Eagles Packers, the Packers could have put that game away in the first quarter. So I don't know if that's a testament to the Eagles and their improvements since the back half of last year, or if the Packers are just a young team and couldn't, they couldn't get the job done early and they let the Eagles creep back in. So um, I don't have a take on this pick. I'm a Falcons fan, honestly. So um, stay tuned for maybe a Bijan prop. We saw what Saquon did, so that's kind of what I'm
Yeah.
looking at. I think Drake London will bounce back. Kirk
Listen, I have
Kirk
I have
scares
a
me.
I have a bet with my friend on this one, so I need the Falcons to win. What is it, 8.5? Oh, on the year. So
Nine and a half, maybe.
yeah, something like that, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah,
But
probably 9.5.
yeah, um, so for them to start off 0-3, it's going to be rough to say the
Yeah,
least,
because we
especially with your
know
schedule.
we know they're not winning next week. Falcons play the Chiefs. We're
Yep.
gonna be hearing Penix calls soon.
hmm And I'm gonna be completely honest, like knowing that I need those 9.5 or that over. Um, with the way Kirko looked, and I like Kirko, right? Um, I just don't see how they can keep the game close with the way he looked. Um, Granted, it's new offense, but I don't think that kind of separation is fixed in 1 week. It's
Yeah,
going to be a
and
season
we'll
long
touch
thing.
on it. We'll touch on it a little bit this weekend, but
We're gonna have a video just for this game specifically,
yep. I do think there's an outside chance the Falcons win, but that could be the copium.
and we'll talk about that.
Yep. So we're gonna leave it there.
Yep.
That's the full slate breakdown. If you stayed this long, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
DGen dads,
We're gonna get some
follow,
graphics up
like,
here. We'll get some
yep,
graphics. We'll be a little better with the picks. At least as a pick 'em at the very minimum or a lean. Once we
yep,
get the graphics going, you know. But definitely support.
yep.
Um,
We're early in the process, so like, follow,
Subscribe,
subscribe, push it
and
out for us. We appreciate it.
yes, sir. And hopefully we spread wealth with that milk money play.
Yep. Aaron
Yep.
Rodgers,
Aaron Rodgers,
32 and a half pass attempts under. Lock it.
sir. Any of the parlays I named, lock it.
Yep. Lock those teasers. Lock those lays.
Let's get it.
Take it easy.